Hey everybody, it's Will.
It's Thomas.
And we're back at the virtual spinner rack right here on OK Boomer. Before we get into the book this week, a big shout out to our sponsor as always, SpinWiz Comics at spinwizcomics.com. SpinWiz Comics is a webcomic and indie comic discovery platform, completely free to download on both iOS and Android. There's over 86 independent publishers and over 400 titles, new titles added every week. And everything on the site, just about, is free to read. Also, if you want to support the creators, you can buy a PDF, and 70% of the profits of that PDF will go directly to the book's creators. Don't forget, coming up, hopefully sometime next year, they're getting it all set up for print on demand. So if you see a webcomic or an indie comic that you really have to have, you can get it printed directly from SpinWiz Comics. They'll print it for you, they'll put it in the mailer, and they'll send it right to your house. And here's just a little sneak peek of what the app will look like on your smart device. That's not bad. Doo-doo-doo. And now, on with the program. All right, everybody, we're doing it. We're diving into TMNT Volume 1, Number 1. I live about 40 minutes away from the original Mirage Studios. So this is Volume 1, Number 1. Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird.
This is actually, I guess, a slight remaster from, I think it was 95 or something like that. Read it. First time I ever read this book was this morning, and man, it's a really damn good book.
Oh yeah, the one thing I noticed, and I started to get a little bored with, of course, it was hot and brand new back then. But how many times have we heard the origin of the turtles?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It's great that they put it in there because it's the first issue. You get like a little taste of everything, and you get the origin told by Splinter, but that only takes up like a small portion of the book.
Yeah, it only takes up a small portion. And the thing that's funny is like, even if I read a little article on this, and an article, something about it. And they were talking about how they wanted to try and get everything in because they didn't know if they were going to make an issue 2. And then it took them months to make an issue 2. How they were saying, Eastman saying he was mailing the artwork back and forth between Laird, and they were adjusting it as it went. And it finally, was such a big hit, they did come out with an issue 2.
Well, this is way back when. You know how,
yes, 84.
You know how hard it was to make comic books back then?
Oh yeah, and that's the whole thing. I mean, even here in this little special cover, that's, right here. This photo shows that's all of the copies of the original TMNT number 1 that they made. That's it. It was only like 3,000 copies or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is why the first 3 issues of TMNT are still one of the most sought after books in comics.
Yeah, I mean, they're not,
including the multiple prints, because it's like, oh, it's a number 3, third print. I saw one in an online auction for at JJ's, Jesse James Comics out in Arizona on the Comic Book Shopping Network. He had one a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And it was in good shape. There were, a couple of dings that, you're going to have from reading it. There wasn't anything big enough to put one of these books in back then, really. You could try to put it like in a magazine bag and board, but there wasn't anything like like top loaders back then. So people are going to read it, and they loved it, and they kept rereading it. So it had like a ding on the top corner and the bottom corner, like you're going to get with every book.
Yeah.
And that's just and a lot of that is just part of the shipping process, especially with oversized books. So
yeah, these are golden age size. Actually, they're not modern. These are the same size as the Tick books. These are golden age size books.
The Tick books, the like the Black Label stuff from DC.
Yeah, the same thing as the Black Label stuff.
So it's amazing they got them out, and it was just two guys with a dream of turtles, and I'm sorry, but Peter looks like a mad scientist here.
Is that what it is? A mad scientist?
Doesn't he? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter.
A little bit.
Don't send Raphael after me, would you?
Got it's like, yeah. Well, see, that's the whole thing there, Travis. Too, when we were, in '84, like you're talking about dings and beat up on comics when we were reading them. That's the thing, man. In '84, nobody was thinking about collecting comics, as a hobby, hardcore hobby. People bought them to read, and it wasn't until what 89 or 90, I guess, when the first Superman #1 sold for $1 million, that people all of a sudden become, hey, these damn things can be worth money.
Oh yeah, they're like, and entrepreneurs were like, how much can we bleed these people for?
Yeah. This is what's cool too. This is by Peter from '92. The cover here is, which of course shows all the turtles. And it's it's like a ash can cover, if you want to call it that. But what's amazing, I did put the original cover in here. I had to hunt for a copy of it, and actually had to steal it from my comic shop. We won't tell them that we did that, but we did. And that's the original cover. But the turtles really looked different in the first issue.
Oh yeah, it was really raw. Peter hadn't, Kevin and Peter hadn't really refined the turtles to the way they look today. They were close, but some of the inking and the process and the printing back then too wasn't the best. So it looks a little janky here and there, but I mean, this was this is a groundbreaking book. And I just saw a big shout out to our friends over at Lost in Comics on YouTube. Chris had been gifted a homage cover to Canto #1.
Yeah.
And it was a store incentive. And it was a homage of this cover.
Oh, really?
But it was Canto. So it was like Canto and like the various other robots and stuff,
Oh,
so
cool.
I go, that was completely rad.
Well, I actually did like I said, I read that one article about them making the first comic, and then I looked into some of the reprints, and dude, some of the only thing that's different between the first one here and the second one that I can tell is the colors are a little different. Other than that, unless you know what color to look for, you won't know if you got a first or a second. And then they start changing. I think it's the border or something after that. But it was kind of crazy. I didn't realize
the variations of covers they did so they would know between first and second print.
Yeah,
was like some of the repaints that McFarlane did on his Spawn collection for like the first 5 years. Just a slight change. This one's different and worth $800.
Yeah. Or the worst one is the same kind of thing. I guess the worst one I can think of too, besides this, is was it a Killing Joke? Unless it's green, it's not a first print.
Mine's green.
Is it? I don't know if I got a first print or not. Killing Joke. This is one of those books that I wouldn't mind to have. I'm not a huge turtle guy. I've read some early turtles. I've got, I think I got a 5, 6, and 7, and some in the 20s. Nothing crazy. But this is a book that, everybody wouldn't mind to have just just to be this. And
Yeah, I
you know,
mean it's definitely, you know, there's no way you can make a top 10 Grail list and not have Turtles #1 in it.
well, the other thing too with this that reminds me of this, and he makes an appearance because I actually looked through it the other day after we were talking about this. Is I wouldn't mind to have a Cerebus #1 myself, and that's the same
Oh
kind.
yeah.
But Cerebus was rough like this, and as they progressed, I didn't realize the first series went 64 issues.
Oh yeah. This was the my good friend John was a big Turtles fan. Now I don't think he's got like the first few. I think he's got like the reprints
Yeah.
of the first few, but the he's got the majority of Volume 1.
Oh, really? Cool.
And then they after Volume 1 they started releasing like the cartoony ones,
Yeah.
you know, to market the toys and the cartoon, and you know, eventually the original movies.
Yeah. Well, they'd all come out, and then people
You
would want to
know,
hop on them.
so he jumped off Turtles like as soon as the black and white like hardcore versions of Turtles were done, and they became a little more kid friendly.
Oh, well, and that may be something we need to warn us our viewers. I mean, this is. I always thought the turtles were kind of kiddie, and this is not kiddie.
Not in this volume.
No, they're pretty rough.
You know, they would. You know, Hollywood would go to Volume 1 of Turtles if they wanted to make an R-rated Turtles movie.
Yeah, this is definitely for the adults.
So this is mature readers. Not that you could stop a kid if you had like, you know, the National Guard behind you from buying a copy of these early Turtles books if they saw them on the shelf.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I still kick myself in the ass because, you know, I saw this, and you know, that they all, and once this broke the mold, the anamorphic animals, and you know, Turtles broke the mold. Right afterwards, we got radioactive black belt hamsters.
Yep.
Fish police, and on and on and on. And I looked at this, I go, what's this? He goes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I go, that sounds stupid. Who would read that garbage? And today, I'm like, oh.
Plus their tails look like dicks. Yeah, now that you bring it up, they do. Terrible.
Travis got some issues.
Yeah.
We're all looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he's all looking at TMNT dick pics. Hey, Lost in Comics, what's going on, guys? We're just getting into TMNT #1.
Yeah. Here's the actual article. I didn't think I put it over here, but this is the credits I read where they were talking about making the first issue.
Oh, cool. This is some behind the scenes stuff right here. This is cool.
Yeah, this is from Peter Laird. I mean, it's him, and then you get Ralph. Love the TMT. Oh yeah, it was really, really good. That's amazing. But yeah, if anybody reads this, especially us old guys will know about this, but young people aren't going to understand this. They talk about crazy stuff like no internet, you know, long distance phone charges, having to mail crap back and forth,
fax machines.
Like wow. But yeah, this is the credits, man. If you didn't get a chance, go back and read it because it's got some interesting stuff in it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anything that they add into, like they added this into the reprint back in the 90s, and this makes this reprint like pure gold. You know, worth having like 100% because you get like a little inside look, which is something nobody got back then.
No, because they just buying the comic. You don't see how it is. I mean, there were a few books from the '70s and stuff that I've got. I've actually got a handful of those, the history of comics and that kind of stuff. I think they're by like Les Daniels that actually go behind the in the background and say what people went through and talk about the artists and all that. But I mean, as kids, we were just reading the damn comics, man.
Oh
Buy
yeah.
it, read it, and trade it. But dude, I'm like you. I remember seeing a couple of early issues. I can't ever say I remember seeing a one where I live because I mean I was in South Georgia at the time when I was in high school. I remember a friend of mine telling me though that the turtles were just badass. They were kicking people's butt and all this, and I'm like, really? That just doesn't because I was reading Batman and the Hulk and Superman.
Oh yeah. I was reading all my basic two. Ugh.
basic too.
Some bitches. My basic two Marvel DC titles, and I was like overwhelmed with all of those even back then. Now I can't imagine anybody walking into a comic shop now. It's like, I like X-Men. What do you got? Well, we have 28 and a half different mutant series. We've got 37 Avengers series. I'm like, come on.
Well, and see that's the thing with you. I get you being up north. You had comic shops, man. At this time when we were buying these, like I said,
I never saw a comic shop till I was 15.
really.
And then
Yeah.
I didn't see another one for like 3 years after I discovered this one.
Oh, okay, so you may have been the same way I was doing. I was having to run back and forth to convenience stores and drugstores to buy them.
Hmm.
Oh, man, those were the damn days. Yeah, he does say if you go in here, Peter Laird talks about how he has cleaned up the art a little bit in this reprint,
Hmm.
the zip tone, and he says he changes the wording slightly to make it a little bit more polished. The other thing he says is that he changes the zip tone, the word. Oh, and he relettered it, so it's been so all
It's
this is not the original letter.
Yeah, it's he did a spit and polish on it.
Yeah, but everything else is pretty much the same. And
And
the thing that's cool too is he did the spit and polish. It's still there. You can still see it's a rough book because
oh
they,
yeah.
because they were doing that. But then what's cool is this starts like I know me and you talked about it before on the show. It starts like a comic should when you pick them up off the shelf. It's right in the middle of the damn story. You have no idea what's going on. You read it to find out. That's it.
You read to discover it. My kid drives me nuts. I'll be
Well,
watching a movie. What's this? So and so. What's it about? And I give it like a little hint of what it's about, and she'll be like, "What's happening now?" I go, "Oh, you mean the part you were just talking over? I have no idea because you were talking over it, but I want to know what's going on." I go, "Just zip it and watch it."
yeah.
No, I can't do that, and she'll get up and walk back into her room and get on her iPad.
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, we've talked about this too. We talked about people wanting to, for our industry, bring people back into comics. They want to get on there and read books, and I hear so many times, even in the group, hey, I want to read Superman, I want to read Batman. Where do I start? Jesus Christ, dude, go buy a damn comic book and read it. You know,
Yeah, really.
yeah, if it says part 5 of 5, maybe you should wait till next month if you want to read that one. But outside of that, plus they all have little snippets on the front of them now. You get the 2 pages at the front where you don't get any art, but it tells you what happened in the last 5 issues.
Or if you've got even a micro brain, uh, you can and if you know anything about the characters whatsoever, you can probably just read that fifth issue and you know get the gist of it, and figure out what's going on, and they're probably going to tell you what's going on during the story, and 1 and 1 is 2, unless you do Common Core math, then you're screwed. But you know uh and the other thing, like, you have to go mail order for your books because you don't have any shops around you really.
Yeah,
uh But if, for people that have comic shops around them, I mean, you need to, if it's a good shop and, you know, the owner slash managers slash workers, you know, pardon my French, know their shit, the best thing you
They,
can do is ask questions in a comic shop. If there's other people in the shop, you can be, excuse me, you know anything about this?
yeah. Well,
I
then
haven't,
that's one of
I haven't, I haven't read comics since I was a kid. Do you know anything about what's going on with this? You know, and what's the worst they're going to say? No, sorry.
well, and that's the whole thing with the comic collecting community as a whole, especially in comic shops. That's one of the things why I do enjoy going to comic book shops. Is you will bump into people who are diehard fans, and we all kind of love this, love different things, but we love these characters and we love the stories. They're going to sit there and talk to you for 15 or 20 minutes and rattle off and tell you what the hell's going on, and then give you 15 recommendations of something to buy that's just as good, if not better than this is going on,
Hmm.
and get you up and
And
down.
because the way the industry's set up now, if it's a mainstream book, and I mean mainstream, not just Marvel, DC, but like Image, Dark Horse, IDW, Boom,
Yeah.
and you're interested in the title, there's a good chance the one that you're looking at, there's a prior trade paperback,
On the shelf.
i.e., graphic novel on the shelf. And I mean, a lot of stores like my LCS, who luckily inherited 6 foot bookshelves from me when I went into a coma. Uh, hint, hint. Um, anyhow, they've got all those. They've got like all my former bookshelves plus all their bookshelves. So they got like a dozen 6 foot bookshelves, like going across the back wall of the main, their main room. And then you get to they have like the main room, and then it's like
Yeah.
separated because it used to be like office buildings. So you have like another section in back, and that's where most of the back issues are. And so a lot of stores do that. They go out and they buy those nice big 6 foot bookshelves, and they build shelving units themselves, whatever they want to do,
Yeah.
and they they stock the hell up on uh, graphic novels, trades, omnibus, and they usually do that whenever there's a liquidation sale.
Yeah. So you can get a discount on them, and then it drives revenue for the stores.
Mm-hmm. It drives revenue for the stores, and graphic novels are the number one seller in the comic industry.
They are. Yes, they are now.
They're over six uh, on a monthly scale. They're over 65% of all comic book sales are graphic novels.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was 65%. I knew it was up there. Yeah, as far as the exact numbers.
It used to be over 60, and it's gone up even more. And I think part of that is a lot of Kickstarters you'll find are trades and graphic novels, because all those indie creators know that people would rather buy a trade slash graphic novel so they can sit down and read
The
not
whole
maybe
story.
the entire story, but they can read an entire story arc,
Yes.
you know. And it might just be like a volume one, but they have like a, a ketchup tier on, it might ketchup on a hot dog, but you know, CATCH up
Yeah, I know.
tier. So, you can read what's come before plus get the new floppy.
Yeah.
Or you can just buy what came before and wait until they put out like, a second volume trade. There's so many great ways to come across comics. Of course, Marvel and DC are fighting back and forth with their digital platforms.
Yeah.
Um, Marvel was making you wait for like the longest time to get like any new content
Yeah, it
put
was
up on
like
the site.
6 months or something, wasn't it?
6 months, and then and then DC came along with theirs because it used to be like a multi-tier app, and that worked out well, huh? So now all that video stuff has moved over to HBO Max, and they're continuing the app, but just as a comic reader, like just a digital comic platform. And then they upped the game to put new stuff. They put on like 250,000 like new comics. They just uploaded into their servers. So then Marvel went, oh, okay, we got to one up DC now. So Marvel is now down to you will have brand new content every 3 months.
Man.
And not to leave out our friends over at Comixology for a whole bunch of stuff. And all three of these people have unlimited services, so you can go on and read anything in there. And Comixology has like a thing, and they're set up where you borrow a book, kind of like a library.
That's kind of like I had was it Amazon Kindle Unlimited? Was kind of like that. You would borrow books, and then you could all have 2 digital books out at a time, and then you return them and you get another 2.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. It's kind of like the same thing because Amazon owns Comixology.
Oh yeah, that's right. Huh.
Dun, dun, dun. And now back to our program. So this first page is very powerful. And the first thing I said when I opened up to this page, I go, oh man, so many words. I'm never going to get through this book. It's huge.
No, it reads really fast.
It's a fairly quick read. You want to take your time because you're looking at comic book history right here, so you want to take your time with it. So you got a close up of one of the 4 brothers' masks, kind of like a snarling eye shot, and then you go to them just like full out
all together.
And
but the thing that's cool too about this, and I thought about it after while we're reading it, because you always know their name. It's Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, but because it's all in black and white, you couldn't really differentiate between the turtles because they're drawn exactly alike. The only thing you could way to tell who's who is by what weapons they call, and they actually do that up here in our little intro. He tells who carries what.
Yeah, because it's like they're not color coded.
Nope.
How do I tell? Oh, you read the book.
Well, and now they've got what's Raphael's red, and one of them's blue, and the other one's purple, and
Raphael is red.
Yeah.
Leo is blue. Michelangelo is orange, and Donatello is purple.
Purple. Okay. Yeah, because they've all got and that's how you can tell them apart now that they're doing the color books.
So, which one is your favorite?
Me? Yeah, dude, it's probably going to be Raphael.
Oh, that's a weak answer. Everybody says Raphael.
Hey, he seemed like the most badass guy in here.
He's the angry one who always gets his ass kicked first.
Hey, look, it's kind of like Wolverine.
That's why everybody likes Raph, because he is the Wolverine of the Turtles.
Yeah.
My favorite is Donatello.
Really?
And my favorite is Donatello for a few different reasons. One, I trained with the bow staff. 2, Donatello is supposed to be the smart one.
He's supposed to be a smart one, okay.
And 3, in the cartoon, Donatello is the smart one. He's like Scotty from the original Star Trek. He's like the brains and the invent. He's the one that invents like all these things. Now, granted, most of his inventions, not so good. Kind of like Tim Allen from Tool Time, but he's still trying. And he made the turtle band. So I mean, how bad can he be? That and his weapon has the longest reach.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you the. We'll see how Goodyear, because we know they even say it later on. You know, they got it from the Italian Renaissance art book. So all four of them are Italian Renaissance artists.
Yep.
One of them's different though. One of the actual artists was different than the other ones. Who was it? What did he do?
It was
Just
a
the art
certain
history question.
it was a certain artist with his ear chopped off.
No, that's Van Gogh.
Oh damn.
No, remember Donatello's a sculptor. All the rest of them are painters. Michelangelo did sculpture as well, but the rest of them are all. Donatello never did any painting.
Yeah, I didn't know there was going to be a freaking quiz.
Damn it.
All right, let's get it. And then boom, right there.
Yeah. Oh, so we'll go. Yeah, there's our first page. They let everybody know who's who, and the turtles are out fighting the purple hand gang. I think it is purple dragon gang. And then first page is a big spread of them jumping up and kicking butt.
And when they read this first page, I'm like, the purple dragons.
Yeah.
What the hell? Aren't they supposed to be the foot? And I'm like, oh, that comes later. Okay, never mind.
Later. Yeah. Well, the other thing that's funny too is right here. You know, even at the little top, the purple dragon guys are like, you know, hey, they're stupid people wearing turtle costumes. And,
He's on costumes.
They're not costumes, exactly.
And they freak out, and the first thing they do is, you know, whip out the guns.
Yeah, and they just start shooting them. Yeah, I do like that. They open up with their artillery.
Mm-hmm. They open up with the artillery, but apparently their turtle shells are bulletproof.
They're either bulletproof or these guys are just terrible shots. They're all stormtroopers.
Well, it looks like that. The guy with the shotgun, look, he's shooting up like straight into the air, and they're like, you know, playing their ground game.
Yeah. You know, you could tell on, you know, the first couple pages, yeah, you get to here, you can really tell this is 80s, you know, homemade. This is 80s homemade stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, it's good, but it is like we were talking about earlier. It's a little rough. That's a nice scene though, in our fight.
Yeah, and you can tell that Raphael leaping out of the actual panel of comic.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too that's kind of funny is even though this is in the 80s, you can tell that they read a lot of comics because they're doing some stuff in here that is a little crazy. They're breaking panels. You know, they've got good panel placement in the book. I mean, they're really far ahead, especially for a first issue.
Yeah, they are making the most of each panel. His sequential artwork is spot on, and you know, even you know, he's not completely filling up the panels like edge to edge, which is good because it's not too busy, but it's perfectly spaced. And even like the second panel down, you've got the one guy with the shotgun. The shotgun's aiming down now.
Well, he's reloading.
Yeah, he's dropping shells in there, but you've got that leap out of Raphael. So like you've got like 3/4 of his arm inside taking up that panel that he's leapt in front of.
Yeah.
So it's clever placement on everything in this book.
This does remind me, like I said, reading it and looking at it, it did remind me of another book from this same time period that I read. It's got that same kind of rough look. You remember reading The Crow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks, you know, it's real close. Yeah, even this, I mean, I love, you know, this is everybody's spread. The characters are taking up all of the available space.
Yep, there's 4 panels and three turtles. You got Donatello up top taking out a couple guys, Michelangelo taking out a couple guys, then two guys getting bumped into each other in the third panel, and Leo looking like he just lopped somebody's friggin' head off.
Yeah. Well, and that's they're talking about that. He says we can bleed, and y'all can bleed. And that's the thing that really got me reading it. They do. Right there, look, they just killed a whole bunch of dudes. These are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They axe these guys.
Yeah, the top panel, two knives and a big blood splash.
That's it. Yeah. And then they're standing there just like, crap is over. We've taken care of everything.
Cops are showing up and they hightail it because, who's going to believe that these aren't a bunch of kids that just murdered a bunch of other kids wearing Halloween costumes?
Well, and that's the thing too. He says, "What is it?" He says, we don't like to run from those that are our allies. Yeah, but they wouldn't understand, and they just disappear. Oh, this there's not a whole lot on this next page, but this is a good page. We talk about that all the time, where you turn the comic book page and the scene completely changes. Boom, there it is, into the night. Nothing else is going on. The damn turtles are gone.
Yeah, just wanted to show them disappearing into the sewer, and the street and everything's empty, and they get down there, and Splinter is waiting to rip them one.
Yeah, well, I'll rip them, but yeah, he talks to them about their skills, and he's good. I didn't realize that they're 13 years old here. Yeah, but yeah, he does. 13 years old. I've trained you for this mission. And then here's where we were talking about. There's the origin of. Here's where our origin of the turtles begin. And Splinter talks, or not Splinter, but yeah, Splinter talks about how he studied, mimicked his former master's martial arts skills, and I guess he's smart enough as a special mouse, rat, whatever you want to call it, to learn it. And then here's our origin of actual Shredder. Splinter's master is in love with another lady, and both Splinter and Shredder are going after the same woman when not Shredder, but Shredder's brother, and Splinter's master kills him, and he has to flee to New York.
Okay, now go back to that page for 1 second.
All right.
There we go.
Did you miss something?
So I just wanted to point something out that just struck me. So
What?
you've got Shredder and his, human guy.
Well, it's Shredder's brother. It's not Shredder yet.
And then you have, I can't read it because the print's too small for me.
Ogu, hold it.
Dagnabbit.
Yeah.
But him,
Yoshi, another member of the Foot Clan is Orogo Nagi, and he's Yoshi's rival. Yoshi is Splinter's master.
Yeah. So
and
right here, basically, you have a love triangle.
Yeah.
Right. Now, minus the rat and the turtles. If you look at this center page right here,
yeah,
you have you have the yin and yang. You have the good guy, the bad guy, and the love interest.
Yeah.
Tell me again where they got the idea for Karate Kid 3.
When did Karate Kid 3 come out?
90s. That's when
they could have got it here. They could have got it.
That's when they went back to the fishing village, and Miyagi's former love was still there, never married, blah, blah, blah. This is a little different because, Shredder is evil and just wants to kill everybody. But
well, it's not been too long ago. I've got it. I just got it in the mail, but I haven't read it. I've actually never read it. But I've got got X-Men 172, which is when Wolverine goes back to Japan and finds his love, which
is that
she
is that the one with the katanas through the wedding invitation?
Yeah, through the wedding invitation.
Yeah,
and the picture behind
it. I love that cover.
And I just haven't had a chance to read it, but yeah, I mean, that's you could tell they were reading comics. Not to mention the whole fact we're fixing to get to the actual origin of the Turtles, which, if nobody knows, is an homage to Daredevil. But yeah, so they get into a big fight. Splinter's Shredder's brother goes to confront Shin, and basically is going to beat her up, and that's when Splinter's master, what's his name? Again, we just had it a while ago. Yoshi kills him, and then they have to flee to America, where he sets up his dojo and begins to teach everybody in New York. But then here's our rise of the Foot, as his brother, young brother, is raised up to the Foot and becomes the leader and eventually becomes Shredder.
Yep.
And then goes to New York.
Yep. So he basically kind of like takes over the Yakuza and takes over the New York chapter of the Yakuza, and he's just out for blood because he finds out that Yoshi's in New York, so he's going after them.
Yeah, he goes after him to kill him. That's this whole thing here. And when he kills him, Yoshi shows up home. He's already killed his wife.
Yeah, he already killed her, and she's just kind of like hanging down and with his bloody fist above her, and it's just all done.
Yeah, he kills her, and then that's where we get our origin, because Splinter says that the cage that he was in breaks, and he wanders off into the city streets, and that's when he sees a young man save a blind man who's in front of a truck. This all sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, doesn't it? So and I'd read it, I've heard it before, but it's kind of funny reading it. Yeah, so the accident that actually gave Daredevil his powers is the exact same accident that gives the Turtles their powers. So technically, I guess if you want to go by this, the Turtles and Marvel are in the same universe. They just never interact with anybody else.
And right off the bat, who one of Kevin's favorite Marvel heroes is.
Yeah, right off the bat. I mean, and this is 84, so this is right after Frank Miller left the book. So, they were probably reading the greatest run of Daredevil of all time. But yeah, so Splinter goes down to into the ooze and finds the Turtles are like wallowing around in the ooze down here, and he picks them up and takes them back somewhere, and within a day, in a coffee can. Then within a day, they've like doubled in size, and so he's gotten bigger, and within a short amount of time, they start talking and walking, and then he starts training them in the masters of them.
I love their first words because one of them yells out Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah, Star Trek.
Awesome.
Yeah, so was it Star Trek, Radical, Moto Guzzo, and Pizza?
We knew Pizza was going to be in there.
Yeah. And then there it is. And he that's where he talks about he's using a battered copy of a Renaissance art book that I found in the storm drain. I had chosen names for you. And now he tells them, their whole mission now is to go kill Shredder.
Yeah, and I'm like, I read that and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
This
Well,
rat
that's
cold.
funny. It's just funny too. I mean, they get their main villain in the first issue, and there's no build up. It's damn, you went to your first mission, now you're going to go kill your main bad guy.
It's like you took care of some like street rats, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna go and this is like hardcore, like turtles be like on some SEAL Team 6 stuff.
Yeah, this is that, and the whole, even this, it's a great splash. They send Raph out to deliver the message because he's the best ninja, or master of ninjutsu. He even talks about, I love it. He talks about how he loves being in the air and out in the city. It really, like I said, for being a rough book, I know we've talked about it, a couple times here, but the art is really, really good for 84.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I do like how they just know where the damn Raphael knows where the freaking compound is, and this ninja compound is oh, she's up. But they go into the compound to leave his message after he kills these two guards.
Yeah. Did he just knock one out? Oh no, he killed them.
Yeah, he kills them. He kills both of them.
Yeah. He ain't messing around.
No, he slices them right through the stomach, right there.
Yeah, because this guy comes at him with a katana, and that's it.
Yeah. I see. That's what we were talking about. We thought originally it was going to be a big long read. It's not a super wordy book.
No, yeah. The first page is a little wordy, and the origin narration is a little bit, and then it just picks up and like flows perfectly all the way through the rest of the book.
Yeah. He gives him his turtle shell right there, and then he throws the sai with the note. Yeah, meet us for a family showdown, or I'm gonna kill you. And it even says the street right there, whatever street it is.
Yeah, and Shredder, even though he's not going by that name yet.
No. Well, yeah, he is right there, the Night of the Shredder.
He's taken over New York, and he's selling protection rackets to, some big money people. And then, Raph busts in and, ricochets a sai through the window off the wood frame, and into the opposite wall.
Yeah.
And these guys, you can't handle your own security. You're not going to handle ours. And I have a funny feeling Shredder might want to kill them.
Yeah, and that's what he says. He says nobody does this, so I'm gonna go kill them. And of course, they conveniently show up at the same house. I do like they use the climbing. I can't remember what the climbing spikes are called to climb up the side of the building, and they're waiting for them. You're like, hey, I'm out in the open, Shredder. Here we are.
Oh yeah, the claws. I had them. Guess what? They don't work.
They don't work. Did you try and climb a building?
Well, when you're like 14 and all you're doing in middle shop class is get thrown out because you just keep making throwing stars. Yeah, and then you find a store called Ninja World and just go in and stop buying stuff like crazy.
Ninja World.
Ninja World.
Really?
What a sucker. Yeah.
Oh my God.
FYI, my first really lame Star Trek convention I went to, like a hometown one.
Yeah.
I wore my ninja costume from Ninja World, and won first place in the cosplay contest as a ninja at a Star Trek convention.
Terrible. Oh my God. That's horrible.
Unbeknownst to me, nunchucks are illegal, and I was carrying a pair of real nunchucks on me the whole time.
Oh my God. Did you get in trouble?
Not then, no.
Not then, but later, huh?
Later, yeah, it's only a matter of time for me.
Oh my God. So they climb up to the building where they're going to meet the shredder, and they're, face us. But there he is across the road. He's like doing the Batman, Daredevil, stalk them out. Who are these fools?
And does he know they're turtles before he gets over to that building now?
Well, say I'm not sure. He tells them he calls them freakish fools there, and then he kind of goes to the building, and they're do you fear us? No, he doesn't fear you. That's why he's
No.
coming over here to kick your butt.
Yeah. Well, he might fear him because of what's on the way, but if all he did was see, and here he is for the first time in the Shredder costume.
Yeah, yeah. I never got all the spikes on the Shredder costume. It's kind of funny.
It the reason for the spikes?
Yeah, I mean I know
Um,
they're little blades and stuff, but
they're blades.
yeah,
How are you gonna hit this guy when he's basically a walking blade dispensary?
yeah, porcupine something, I guess.
Mhm. He
So
he's got him on his shin guards, his arm bracers, the back of his climbing gloves, his shoulder plates, and then he's got that funky looking
helmet.
like manga helmet, really. Yeah.
So he shows up to fight him, and what's funny is of course they thought he was going to come along, but he doesn't. He brings the rest of the foot with him, and then sends the foot at the turtles.
And then we are overwhelmed with
Yeah,
massive fight pages and every martial arts weapon you could think of.
yeah, they're all in
Yeah.
this
Anything
book.
that's ever been a Bruce Lee movie is in this book.
Yeah, from here on out, it's pretty, it's very little. It's all action.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are good guys. A bit too good. I do like the fact that while they're fighting the foot, it shows that they're not a bunch of pushovers, because they are actually injuring the turtles.
Hmm.
And then when after the turtles finally beat them up, Shredder's like, oh my God, they've beat them up too, so it'll be easy to defeat them all.
And then
And then
the bottom panel, you can see how they're all cut up, bruised up,
yeah,
the
right
leg
there.
bleeding out,
Yep, you see all the little cuts and the bleed where they're bleeding on their arms and all that.
and
And
then
then of course,
they used this in the movie when they went after him.
was
This
that
is obviously where they get the scene, the rooftop.
yeah,
They fight him one on one, and they realize, man, he's so much of a badass. We got to go at him all
yeah,
together. And
yeah, because yeah, they can't go at him one at one because yeah, like I said, he's a badass. He's beating all their butt, and then they're like, we got to fight him together from a distance.
mhm.
And they have all these. They start using throwing stars and such. Yeah, right
Speaking
here.
of which,
There it is. Throwing stars. I don't know what this is. Uh,
those
but
are
yeah,
just
they start.
third panel down.
Yeah,
They look like planktons. Uh, just the way he drew them.
yeah,
They're blades. I figure they're blades, kind of like in the same way the little sharpened bat blades that Batman will keep between his fingertips. and just reach
Yeah.
forward and throw.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. So they got the ninja stars. They're throwing this at him. Shuriken, not ninja stars, but shuriken.
Yeah,
And
use the right term, huh?
yeah, Raph
Oh,
throws his
maybe
size
I
at
don't keep
him.
ninja stars, but
Do what?
keep calling them ninja stars because I dressed as one. So
Is that what it is? So you
fool me
got
on me.
special treatment.
Yeah. He's throwing his size at him. That missed him because he just leaps aside.
Yeah, but when he leaps aside, Donatello gets him in the in the back with the bow staff, and
Yep.
then they just beat the hell out of him. And Leo finally stabs him, runs him right through with a freaking katana.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is just this was way more than I expected from the Turtles book.
Oh yeah, like the
But
the
they,
center the center panel here. You see the complete and utter disdain for them, and you know just pure evil you know a pure evil anguish look on his face, and then the bottom of the panel, page before there, then Leo like runs him through with one of his
right
katanas,
here. Oh yeah, yeah, right
and
there. He runs
yeah,
it through.
and the look of shock and awe on his face, like how did they defeat me?
Yeah, how did they? These freaking turtles. And then at the on the next page though is the turtles actually, I guess they offer him to, they offer him a dang katana blade, whatever you want to call it, to commit seppuku, and he
Mhm.
refuses. He's got a freaking damn grenade on him. He's going to blow everybody up.
Or so he thinks.
Yeah, yeah, because
It would have sucked if they let the grenade thing work, because how are they going to explain issue two?
well, that's the thing too. After he's going to blow him up with the grenade, and Donatello hits him with the staff and knocks him off the building. And then you could tell that the grenade goes off here. You could see that.
Yeah, so they probably kicked the grenade off after him, or it was still in his hand and he
Yeah,
lost it
it's
on the
right
way
there.
down.
Yeah, it's right here. It's
Oh
in
yeah, so
he
it knocks out of his hand and then rolls off the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they go down later to the basement and they find a little piece of his armor, but that's it. They don't find any body.
Hmm. And in
And,
the crappy movie, instead of doing it this way, they Shredder fell into the back of a trash truck, and the automatic crusher thing went on.
was that the first movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen that. And literally, that's it. They throw his piece of broke ass armor away, and they're going to go back into the night. That book ends how it begins.
Hmm. Except they're all bloodied up.
Yeah, yeah, they're bloodied up this
And
time.
of course, as we said before, they bless you. Uh, they they did it like this because they probably weren't expecting to actually be able to get to a number two issue.
No, no, and that's what they were saying in that little article. Yeah, there's the rest of it. This was written in 2005, I guess. So I don't know when this. Yeah, but I even read all this. This guy Ralph the Barnendo, I guess, was a friend of Laird and Eastman, and he talks about he owned 500 copies of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 at one time because he was buying them off.
Son of a.
Yeah. He also talks about tearing them up and sending them out as advertisements and stuff for friends to get them to buy more books. But yeah,
Don't
but
pretend to
that's
have the
it.
Rona just so we cover My Little Pony. Come on.
Do what? She's
Don't
not.
pretend to have the Rona just to make us cover a My Little Pony book.
No, she hasn't felt good for about a week.
Oh.
It's allergies. She's going back to the doctor tomorrow. But yeah. So what'd you think of number one?
I loved it.
Really? Yeah, this is a really good book. It kind of makes me want to buy. I know they have a what is it? Eastman and Laird's Turtles, like a first 4 issues as a one volume.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of just buy it to read.
Oh yeah, it's more than worth it. It's a piece of comic book history. I gotta give this 4.5 stars out of 5.
Oh yeah, and the story is, I want to say the story is a little better than the art, because the art is rough for the time, but still the art is way ahead of, it's even ahead of some of the stuff the big two were doing at that time.
Yeah, but this is also ahead of its time just for like you know a mature comic and the indie explosion from the that ran from like the 80s through the early 90s.
Yep, and we talked about that the other day with Pacific Comics and is it Pacific Eclipse, Mirage, Capital. Uh, God, I can't even remember them all.
Oh, there's so many. Now comics.
Yeah, now.
Now was I loved now because all their stuff was like painted like immensely like it was like the now was the predecessor of Alex Ross,
Yeah.
literally.
Well, that's where he did his first work.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, I'll give this a good 4.5 stars as well. Like I said, and the only reason it's getting a 4.5 is like I said because some of their lips are a little weird. Uh, I like the
They're doing duck face like they're on Instagram.
yeah, I like the cleaned up little version on the cover, this ash can cover.
Yeah.
It's cool.
All right, so it's time to pick a book for next week. Not no, we're on vacation.
Yeah, I've actually we'll be off next week. I've actually got to go. I've got to go out of town and work out of town all next week, so we'll be back for the week after that.
So you want to pick a book for 2 weeks away?
Pick a book. I kind of backwards picked this one. Let's see. We've done Turtles. Have we done a Batman book yet?
Not in a while.
Not. Oh yeah, we did Batman. We've done. Uh, okay, something we haven't ever done. Let's see. Actually, something I want to read. I've got over there in the box. I've not read it. We haven't done it. Let's do Iron Man 150.
Okay.
That's a Doctor Doom story.
I love Doctor Doom.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
He was my first Marvel supervillain because I first discovered him in the black and white daily Amazing Spider-Man strips.
All right. Well, let me ask you something then. Saying that, have you read Astonishing Tales number 8?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, then we'll change it. We'll do Astonishing Tales number 8. That's the team up book with there's 2 stories in the book. Okay. The first story is Kazar, and the second story is Doctor Doom.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like, what's the book again?
Astonishing Tales.
Astonishing Tales, and then there was Tales to Astonish.
Yes, Tales
and
to Astonish.
They were both kind of like the same format.
Yeah, they were same format. Yeah, it was 2 stories in one book. Well, the reason I always bring up Astonishing Tales number 8, especially if somebody says they like Doctor Doom, is that's the one with they say it on the cover. It's the most shocking Doctor Doom story of all time. And I mean, now you kind of know it, but it's a great story. And I can't remember who wrote it at the time. Maybe Roy Thomas or Gary Conway. but
Well,
the art
we're gonna find out in 2 weeks.
but the art is by oh god, is Gene Colan.
Oh, he's awesome.
Great book. But yeah, and we're going to do a special. We're going to do a special unboxing in just a few minutes, aren't we?
Yep. We're gonna take a quick break. Both of us are probably gonna grab a beverage, and we'll be right back with a special unboxing. Thomas got his monthly shipping from DCBS in, and we're gonna do a live unboxing as a
All
as
right.
a as a as a special boomer unboxing of DCBS. So we're gonna be like Chuck Woolery. We'll be back in two and two.
2 and 2.
That's 4. Yeah, so we're gonna end this. We thank you all for joining us. Thanks to Travis for coming in and looking at the book with a magnifying glass so we could spot some turtlenecks. And thanks to Lost in Comics for popping in and professing their turtle love that we obviously all know about. And we will see you in 2 weeks with the most shocking Doctor Doom